Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. I know it's not Halloween. Alright, that's long past. But when it came to my Halloween videos, I ran out of time and I couldn't upload everything I wanted to. So that's why I'm uploading them past Halloween. But if you stop and look at it like this, at some point in time, it's gonna be Halloween time again, October. So somebody eventually will stumble upon my videos and watch it around Halloween time. So yeah, and I'm here today to talk to you about Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island. So I finally now have finished this season. This is the third season, and well, I guess you could probably say third or maybe second revival, but it's probably more likely the third. See, I reviewed the first episode of this about early this year, I believe. If not, I don't think I did it last year. I'm pretty sure I did it early this year because I had literally didn't even know that they had came out with a third season. And the first episode, like always, is on YouTube. And so I've been looking for it and looking for it online. It was from one app to another, then another, and it just keeps bopping around and disappearing and stuff. But they finally put it out on DVD. This season came out last year and they finally put it out on DVD. And so I took a chance, which is something I haven't done in a long time, and I bought it on DVD, hoping that I would like it. And I did. I really enjoyed this season. In fact, this is probably my all-time favorite season of this entire series. See, this series came back out in 1992, from 92 to 95. And I never even heard of this show at this time. It's a Canadian show. It's very similar to Goosebumps. Basically, what it is that a group of kids, they go out at night and then they had this little spot that they sit at. And it's just this little outdoorsy type place with some garbage around, stuff like that. And they start a campfire. They take some glittery dust and they throw it in the campfire, and they say submit it for the Midnight Society or something like that. And I call this the tale of whatever the name of the ghost story is, and they just tell ghost stories. That's it. They're called the Midnight Society, and it's just a bunch of kids telling ghost stories and stuff. And they were never technically at that point back in the day in the series. So whenever they'll tell the story, it'll be completely different characters and whatever ghostly type, horror-y type stuff that was going on. And so once that ended in 95, they had a second revival from 1999 to 2000. Now that's the season I watched, and I particularly just didn't like it. However, it did something very interesting at the very end. At the very end, the Midnight Society, a brand new group of kids, except for one member from the original series and stuff. And then another member came back because he needed their help. Somebody from all the way back since season 1. And this is the first time the group ever experienced the paranormal. See, like I said before, they just tell ghost stories, but that's what they were, just literal ghost stories. And so in the finale, the series finale at that time, the kids now get to experience all this ghostly stuff. That was bizarre, strange, and it kind of set up for the third revival. And so many years later, in the year 2019 till 2022, there have been 3 new seasons of the third revival. And each season has a brand new Midnight Society group. And they tell a story that they think is fictional, but it turns out to be real. And so they have to deal with whatever paranormal, ghostly manner they have to. And it's completely different from that of the original series, except for that of the original series finale. And, with these new revivals, there is no character from the original series, but there are Easter eggs and stuff. And no matter what, I never like I've watched a few episodes of the original run, and I don't like those. I watched Dangerous Soup and Chameleon. I watched Dangerous Soup only because Nev Campbell was in it, and they mention her in this season. Just Nev Campbell in general. And I watched the Chameleon one because it had the Maury twins in there. And so I just particularly just didn't like it. And I've seen a couple of few other ones on Pluto, and I'm just like, I can't get into it. And then I watched the second revival, and I just couldn't get into it. Now, there is one episode of the original I do particularly like. It's the one with the library, and the librarian makes everybody be quiet. So I've never really liked that. And then when it comes to that of the third revival, those other two seasons, I do not particularly like. I could not get invested in them. But this season, something changed. I got invested. For the first time in my life, it seemed spooky and eerie and scary. They did a very good job. See, I grew up on Goosebumps, and this reminded me so much of Goosebumps. And I also grew up on like The Haunting Hour. And so this was really, really, really good in my opinion. It was really creepy. Now, I have no idea if this was the new series finale. Since 2022, there hasn't been a new series. Normally, it comes out in the fall, so maybe we'll see something then. And so, but other than that, I have no idea because they haven't said anything. Kind of like Ghost Island. Like, this just kind of popped out of nowhere and stuff. And when it comes to Ghost Island, it has 4 episodes. See, with the revival, they've been really short. The first season of Revival had 3 episodes. The second season had about 10, and now this one has only 4. It's much smaller and it's more compact, so they can get straight to the story, and they do. And it's a smaller cast. This Midnight Society consists literally of only 4 kids, which is normally a whole lot less than what it normally is. Now, even though I really loved and enjoyed this, there are problems in this season. It is confusing. The rule of ghosts in the ghost world and some of the other things they do is very, very confusing and makes no sense. It's almost like they were just writing on the edge of their seats, just making stuff up as they go instead of having like a real cohesive plan. But other than that, I still find it enjoyable, but it does get very, very, very confusing. There are twists in here that took me by surprise and I did not see coming, but those twists are very confusing. One problem with the twist is that once they do it the first time, they recycle that same formula about 2 or 3 more times. Once they do it a second time, then it's all like, okay, well, you just did that. Now you gotta do something different. Like, you can't keep going back to the well and everything, because now I don't know what to believe from what I'm seeing with my own 2 eyes and everything. So when it comes to this season, when it comes to flashbacks, don't believe everything you see in the flashback and everything, because they switch the characters around so you don't know who it really is. And when you find out the reveal of who these characters really are, then it's like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? So they do that very effectively and everything. Now, the DVD has no special features whatsoever, and there are no trailers. It's literally just a menu and the 4 episodes. And, the episodes themselves are like 40 minutes long. So it gives you some pretty, good stuff to sink your teeth in as you're sitting down for the ride and everything. And I do wish it was a little bit longer. I wish there were more episodes because I did enjoy it. Maybe if there were more episodes and maybe if they didn't make it so confusing, they could have buffed that out, but I guess it is what it is and stuff like that, And so with these characters, we have Kayla. Kayla is the very first, I believe, Asian person to ever be part of the Midnight Society. I don't really recall there being an Asian person before in the other revivals or the original. But she is half Hispanic and half Asian and stuff. I believe Chinese and something else. I can't remember what. And so this is breaking barriers and all this other stuff. Kayla is our main protagonist. She used to have a twin sister named Bella. Both of them was part of the Midnight Society. Bella always wears her hair in a ponytail, whereas Kayla wears her hair down. Bella has died. Bella got sick when she was a teenager and died. Bella was more outgoing with the ghost stories and stuff. She loved the spooky, she loved the paranormal, and she loved doing seances where they will have these variety of games. They'll ask ghost questions and then the thing will like move or something like that. Kayla, on the other hand, is a little bit more reserved and don't really like that stuff and spooky. And she has a fear of death and everything. When her twin sister dies, she just shuts herself off. She no longer wants to do like all these ghost games, and she no longer wants to be part of the Midnight Society. So the entire group puts an end to that, but they don't put an end to their friendship. The Midnight Society group are like best buds and everything. And when it comes to the Vale Hotel, which they go there because Bella wanted to go to Ghost Island and everything, and Kayla didn't want to go after her sister died, but her friends pretty much persuaded her. She's the only one who wants to investigate this like spooky paranormal type thing, and when she starts seeing weird people walk around. Leo is the very first openly gay character on this series. They have never had one before. They've had gay actors play on this show, and they've had other LGBT members be part of Nickelodeon, some people you didn't know of. But his character-wise is the very first one. And he is very sassy. He's buddies with that of Kayla, and he persuades her to want to go on this vacation and stuff. They even give him a love interest in the series in the form of Max. Basically, when Max is feeling weird, is all like, something feels weird about me. I feel like I'm invisible and everything. Hint, hint, Ghost Island and stuff. And, he tells Lucas pretty much, have you ever just woken up in the morning, feel like invisible to the world, like you can't be seen? And it's one of those heart-wrenching things where Leo, tells him I feel like that. Basically is Leo feeling unseen by the world because he is a gay, like, teenage boy and stuff. And they did that by portraying it through, like, Max and how Max feels, which was a very smart move to make because it doesn't make Leo seem all that preachy, which a lot of people complain about and stuff when it comes to diverse characters, but instead it's the other character. Basically, it's Leo being lived through another character and stuff. Summer is also best friends with that of Kayla. She was also best friends with Bella. She's technically the it girl at school. She's all about fashion and all this other stuff. And she has a crush on Ferris, which I don't understand why. I believe she's Afro-Latino, I believe. But when you see her sister's all Latino. And so, like, and they've had Black and Latino characters on the show before. And so, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of like she's there and she helps out and she has a lot more to do. And it's like, she doesn't want nothing to do no more with the Midnight Society group. And she has a hidden crush on that of Ferris, even though she doesn't admit to it. And every time he keeps like pestering her about it, she's just like, leave me alone, and stuff like that. I think that their whole relationship was cool with the way she comes like leave me alone type thing. But then when she finally falls for him, it's like, why? They don't match, you know what I'm saying? Which brings me to him now. Ferris is an annoying little dork. He's very scared of stuff. He doesn't like doing things. He's very reserved, and he is obsessed with that Summer's sister. He is madly in love with Summer's sister, and he thinks that she loves him too. But when she goes to the island, she doesn't even interact with him. Instead, she hangs out with her boyfriend, which he had no idea about. He's all like, how can she do this to me? Don't she know what we have is special? But they don't have anything special. He's basically the obsessed nerd with the hot girl and everything. And it's very, very annoying. He is very annoying. I don't understand the purpose of him on the show because he doesn't really help out. But then they finally give him something good to do at the end when he has to help break the spell. But other than that, he's just the whiny, annoying, obsessed dude. Then when he finds out that Summer might have a crush on him, then all his focus goes from Summer's sister to her. And then he becomes even more super annoying. I wish they would have written his character much better because you could literally take him out and it would not move the needle of like the series or affect it in any kind of way. He's just super, super annoying. Now, right off the bat, I don't understand why any of these kids are in the Midnight Society. They don't seem to like ghost stories or anything ghostly nature and stuff. You have Ferris, who is like just terrified of stuff and wants to run away. Summer is kind of like, she's too much of a fashionista and she doesn't really seem to care about the paranormal stuff and gets scared of it. Same with like Leo. And of course, Kayla, she doesn't really like the paranormal all that much either. It was really only Bella. So most likely Bella just kind of convinced them to do it and they just went along with it because they're all best friends and stuff. But these kids don't really seem like Midnight Society kids. They just don't seem to like the paranormal or ghost stories and stuff. So it's really bizarre that they're part of this society, but yet they don't seem to like ghost stuff. And that is the most weirdest thing of them all. Max. Max is a very unique and interesting person. In episode 1, he meets the Midnight Society and he tells them the story of a boy who worked as a bellhop at the Vale Hotel who went missing, who went to room 13. And so, the boy who went missing, he was like a teenager. He loved Celine Dion music. And he was going to see the Scream movie because it had just came out in 96. And it's interesting because, he mentions Neve Campbell's name. Neve Campbell once guest starred on this series back in the day in the Dangerous Soup episode. And, it's just a cool Easter egg and everything. That was back in season 3. There's another Easter egg when Bella and Kayla are playing Have You Ever? They ask, have you ever stolen anything? And one of them mentions that she stole the nose off a clown. I think the clown name was Fizzo or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. And that was the clown that was in one of the stories from back in the old day. It's a name that we only saw one episode with the clown. But then the name of the clown keeps getting dropped in other seasons and stuff. Which now, if this is indeed that same clown, then technically, in a way, they have just retconned the entire series to where all the ghost stories that was told back in the old days were actually real life stuff. That is crazy. If they was to ever do a new revival, they should totally redo that and everything. But anyways, so he tells the story of I already mentioned this, the guy in room 13 went missing, stuff like that. He almost touched the mirror. He was almost possessed by the mirror. Towards the end of the episode, he is revealed to have a movie ticket stub that's never been ripped yet. A movie called Scream. The story was about him. And so it's kind of okay, so he literally went missing all those years ago. He is, in fact, a ghost boy. And it's really interesting how, like, they did all that and how he forgot his memories of him being a ghost. And he's also secretly, like, gay because he has, like, feelings for that of Leo. His best friend, became a ghost hunter trying to, like, look and find out all about all this paranormal stuff on Ghost Island. And then he later went missing. Stanley. Stanley's a very interesting character. He works at the Vail Hotel and he doesn't like kids and he doesn't like having mirrors in that of the hotel. This is all I'm gonna say about him for now without spoiling because I'm about to get into the main plot of the series. Now, one thing that is a little bit off when you get into episode 2, I already talked about episode 1, but when you get into episode 2, all that freaky stuff happened at the end of episode 1, with the Room 13 stuff. But then, starting in episode 2, the group is now on the beach having a good time. It's kind of like, dude, if all this freaky stuff like happened to me, I would not be on the beach trying to have a good time. But they're trying to forget about it because they don't want to deal with all this ghostly stuff no more. When every episode starts, we see like flashbacks of Kayla and Bella when they was younger and, talking about ghostly stuff and stuff like that. Kayla is very upset and she thinks her sister might be at this hotel. And so basically what it is that like when they're out and about having a good time, Summer's cell phone gets stolen by a little girl, the same little girl that entered the hotel with her mom and baby sibling back in 1983. The girl will not say nothing, and I mean nothing. But but Kayla chases her all around the hotel, and the girl gets on the elevator and stuff like that. Basically, like I said before, Stanley does not like having mirrors in like the room, in the hotels or nothing like that. And every time you see the reflection of a mirror, you see this weird ghostly figure in there. And so basically, Max and that of Kayla go investigating. They find the little girl and she takes them down below in some kind of like basement type area. And, I honestly thought Kayla and Max were going to have a love interest because those two are always hanging about and they're always looking at each other and waving and stuff like that. But he's just overly friendly. So anyways, while they're there, some weird stuff starts to happen. And basically, when they meet the entire group, Kayla just assumes that, it might be Bella doing all this ghostly stuff. And she wants to figure out the whole Room 13 thing. When they're in like the little church chapel type thing in the hotel, Bella wants to play the game to do like a seance type thing, which angers the rest of the group, especially that of Leo and that of Summer, because they said they would never ever do that again because of the passing of Bella. But Kayla just refuses, to let this go. She plays the game and the ghost that's there pretends to be Bella until Summer asks her to reveal her crush that she has, which of course on Ferris. The only person who knows is that of Kayla and Bella. When the ghost points to that of Leo, who is gay, they know they're not talking to Bella. It was very creepy and very eerie and stuff. And basically throughout the whole thing, they're kind of being haunted by this woman in white, this demonic ghost type thing. Because Max is kind of freaking out and he wants to go back to that other room. He goes there and he smashes the mirror and out comes the demonic ghost woman. And they don't know who this demonic ghost woman is, but they have found her diary. Stanley finds them and tries to rescue them. And so he tells them, don't look at anything that has a reflection, a mirror, metal, water, anything, because that is how the demonic ghost woman, moves about and everything. And she grabs you, she'll bring you into the ghost world. And so, So they're all panicking and running and all this other stuff, but they're pissed at Stanley because he knew about the room 13 and did not tell them. But he literally tells them, he is trying to save them and stuff. But Max is pissed because he's all like, dude, you knew I was a ghost and you never told me. I lost my memories and everything. And I've been working at this hotel ever since. And because Stanley knew that what's his name was a ghost. It's weird. Kayla is able to see the ghosts. Max, of course, is able to see them because he's dead. And Stanley somehow is able to see them, but nobody else is really able to. And it's never really explained, really. But then later on, it is explained with Stanley, but not so much with Kayla. And so they start reading, the diary to figure out how to put the ghost back in there and stuff. And they find out the ghost demonic woman used to be a real life woman named Lucia. And Lucia was just like an average normal girl back in the day. And she fell in love with a guy named Cutter. And so Cutter was kind of he went out to sea. And she waited for many years and he never came back. Cutter later died. So obsessed and heartbroken, she went to a voodoo doctor type lady, and she tried to find this magic book and resurrect the dead soul of that of Cutter. And and it's really sad because it was many years ago, right? And she really loved this dude, and it was really sad to see her upset about that. And so when she finally finds a spell through the mirror, she sees Cutter and everything, and she does the spell exactly the way it is, and then somehow when she touches the mirror, she is now in the ghost world, and Cutter is now out. And Cutter gives her a very sinister grin. This is what he wanted all along. And this part is very confusing. Why exactly did Cutter, Cutter, of course, wanted to escape death. So now he's kind of immortal. But the thing is, why was he evil? When we see him portrayed, he is as nice can be. He didn't know he was going to die at sea, so he never had no sinister plan. Why exactly did he have this sinister plan? And, another reason why is just because they needed the evil male stereotype. So anyway, she's trapped in the mirror. Somehow she is demonic and everything. And it's a part that's a little confusing because they literally say we didn't unleash Lucia, we unleashed some type of demon and everything. Is it her? Is it a demon? Well, it is revealed to be her and everything. So that part gets very confusing as well. So the group is trying to figure out how they're going to put her back in, right? And that's what Stanley wants. But then Kayla's all like, no, this is all Cutter's fault. And we need to put him into the mirror and then release Lucia and stuff. But Stanley don't want that to happen. But Kayla and the group are going to do it anyways. So they need something. In order to put a spirit back into the mirror, they need something that belongs to them. Well, here's the thing. How in the world are they going to get Cutter back into the mirror? Because one, his ghost ain't around nowhere, and neither is his living body, and two, they need something of him, so they go to his grave site to get his bones and everything. And this is where the biggest twist of them all comes, and it is insane. Summer and Ferris, they go to get the bones, but there are no bones in his grave. Now the grave site is called Captain Cutter. And so they don't know where he is. But then it's later to reveal that Stanley is actually Cutter. And I was very confused, but I was like, oh man, that's a great twist. But why was I confused? Easy. They pulled the wool over our eyes again with the whole switcheroo. Same thing they did with Max in his flashback. They had a different character playing him, so we wouldn't know it's Max. Here they do the same stinking thing. With Lucia is talking to Cutter. Cutter is an Asian guy. But when it's revealed that Stanley really is Cutter, he ain't Asian and stuff. And so he's literally been living at the hotel for hundreds and hundreds of years. How nobody knew he was the same person? Because he literally works at the hotel. I don't know. Why didn't he leave Ghost Island? It's not explained. A lot of things in here are just not explained. Another thing that's not explained that's very confusing is like, okay, how come Lucia, the demonic ghost girl, could not get out the mirror from the ghost world, but yet every other ghost can appear in the thin air and walk around the hotel? This is revealed when like there's a hotel maid lady who's constantly asking to clean the room. And we see her in the flashback back in the first episode as one of the people that went into that room and died. And so then they did like a news expo on like the weird stuff that happens in the hotel, and every person that is dead. And they show Max, they show the little girl, they show Max's best friend, and they show the maid. So all these ghosts are literally living on Ghost Island, and they can reappear so some people can see them. But how are they able to escape the ghost world? In order to do that, you have to do the spell, you have to have something of them, and you have to touch the mirror and take their place. This is something why Lucia couldn't do it, and the mirror had to be broken and stuff. It's never ever truly explained, and it's very confusing. And so, like, because now we find out that Stanley is Cutter, he traps that of Kayla in the ghost world. And Kayla is not able to get out. Now we see why in room 13 certain things move around on their own. It's literally people in the ghost world touching it. Same thing, people answering the phone and turn on the music and this and that. So she's upset, she's panicking and everything, but nobody else knows who Cutter really is. Now what's interesting about this is a bit of a Easter egg to Captain Cutter from an older episode from back in the day. Only difference is that Captain Cutter is a black man and everything. So either this is an Easter egg they knew all about, or they made a mistake and just renamed that character that. It would have been cool. They would have got the original actor who is still alive to play Captain Cutter. So then all of a sudden, while in the ghost world, Kayla sees Bella and they talk, and Bella gives them some reassurance that she's at peace and all this other stuff. But the question is, how in the world did Bella even show up there? Bella did not die on the island. And that place is supposed to be kind of like purgatory. Kayla is kind of dead and kind of not, Bella said. And not only that, but like, once again, why is Bella there? And Bella literally said she passed already. She's not in purgatory or nothing like that. So how was she able to go there? And why is she not able to leave if other people who are supposedly dead left? Now the people who are ghost people there, they're kind of ghosts and kind of not as well, because apparently Lucia pulled them in through the mirror somehow. And now they're trapped in the ghost world, but they literally died and stuff. It's confusing and it's not really explained all that well, which really bugs me. So of course they have to figure a way to what happened to Kayla. So somehow they figure out she is in the ghost world because she turns on the radio and all of the songs that's gonna play is Celine Dion. And so they're all like, hold up, that's Max's favorite song, like singer and everything. And like, like how would a ghost from the 1400s know about Celine Dion? Well, I mean, other people who's been in that room turned on the radio and other stuff comes on. So that's not really a good explanation. But they figure it must be Kayla inside the ghost world. So they need a way to get, what is it? Cutter in and what's her name out. And so this is the part that's really weird. Kayla's group decides which one of them should go and take her place in the ghost world. Leo's all like, I'm the one who persuaded her to go, I should go. Summer's all like, no, I'm her best friend, I should go. Okay, first of all, they're stupid. They're living, why are they going to sacrifice their life to go into the ghost world? Max is already dead. So why don't he go into the ghost world? And that's what he does. He said he'll go and everything. That should have been the Midnight Society's first instinct, is to send a person who's already dead back into the land of the dead. So Leo and, Max have like their heart to heart. They're upset. They don't want to leave each other. But, he goes in the way and Kayla's out. Now they have to stop Cutter. But there's a problem. There's no mirrors and they need something of his. They have like, they find something of his. But like, this is the part that is kind of anticlimactic, which is kind of cool. He's on a boat, he's out on the river and stuff like that. And they use the reflection of like, he actually pulls a knife on Kayla. That is how hardcore they went with this. And he takes her on a boat and they go off the like, swim and stuff. And so this is when they realize, oh wait, the moon is out, it's night, and there's the ocean water. Therefore, his reflection will be all over the water. So they do the spell, but you have to knock twice. So they take rocks, and this is what Ferris does, and he throws in the water to make the knocking sound. And then she forces him to touch the water by tossing him in the water. Then we get a really cool scene where he's drowning and we see the demonic Lucia. And as she's going towards that of Cutter, her face is turning more and more human. She goes to the surface where she walks on the surface and then she just fades away into a ghostly world. So she is now dead. Back in the spirit world, she has now passed. Cutter is now back in the mirror world because he cheated death all those years ago. And so now they saved the day, right? And then we get a scene of them on the beach during the daytime. They're happy, they're excited. Something weird happens. Summer's sister starts to hit on like Ferris when she has a boyfriend and she's never been interested in Ferris, only for him to reject her and go to Summer, and now they're an item. Then the strangest thing happens that makes absolutely no sense. They get a letter on the beach from like a bellhop person. It was written to the Midnight Society. It's a letter from Max. But how? He's in the mirror world and he's dead. Then it's revealed that since the spell has been broken, and somehow it reset time, but yet they're still all aware of everything. And now all these ghosts are able to live their lives out and as normal people and not be sucked into the ghost world. So, like the mother and the two kids from like 1983, they no longer got sucked into the mirror. Max no longer got sucked in the mirror from 1996. And everybody else that got sucked into the mirror that died is no longer sucked in and gets to live their life out as normal. I can kind of dig that, like I can, because like, okay, fine, it reversed time, the spell been broken, whatever. What I can accept is this. The 1983 mother couple, when they go to the hotel, there's like a guy there. I think he's like Hispanic or something. And he doesn't want to give them a room to room 13 because it's the haunted room and stuff. So they steal the key and they go there anyway, and that's when they get trapped into the mirror world. He's kind of rude and he's kind of snooty. When we see this scene play out again, now all of a sudden he's a female and she's friendlier and she gives a room to the key to room 13. I don't understand what happened to the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could that affect time so much that now it was a guy bellhop and now it's a female one? Unless the guy bellhop is that switcheroo type thing from a flashback that they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. So that's never really explained. Also, Max tells Leo, hey man, if you can find a spell that can send you back in time to 1996, we can hang out. If Max never died in room 13, then technically he is still alive today. He would probably just be in his late 30s, early 40s. So, yeah, I don't understand why older Max just didn't show up at the beach and explain everything instead of explaining in a letter. Now, of course, they can't have no relationship because Leo is a teenager and Max is now an older man. But why send that letter hoping that they'll do... This is a nod to the Back to the Future too. When the doc sent like Marty a letter through time and stuff like that and just had the people wait and give it to him. So that's a nod to that. I get that, but it don't make no sense in this show and stuff. And so, like, now the Midnight Society had decided to be a group again. And they go out, make a bonfire, and they're gonna tell a ghost story. This is the part that's kind of weird. We see all the ghosts now, ghost children, walk up to the Midnight Society and sit near them as the story about to be told. But then, it phases out and then there's nobody there because they're just ghost kids. Where did these ghost kids come from if the whole mirror curse thing is gone? Are these just people who regularly died on the island? And if so, why are they kids? I don't understand the setup of that. Like I said before, this season is good and a whole lot better than most of the other ones, but it's very confusing. But it's good in my opinion. See, when you look at the ratings of the third revival, all 3 seasons have very low ratings, but season 3, this one has the lowest of them all. I think what it is that fans of the original series, they don't like the revival. They rather just have the original gang and original ghost stories and the way it used to be. And if they were going to make the ghost stories real, they want the cast of the original series. But instead, they keep bringing in a new Midnight Society for each season and stuff, which explains what happened to the old one. Why is it every season there's a brand new Midnight Society? I don't get that. They never explained that. At least with the original one, even with the second revival, they had a brand new cast, but they kept somebody on from the older series, tying it in. Here, there's no tie-in and stuff. And so I just think fans of the original just aren't feeling this revival. And maybe a lot new younger fans, the newer ones, aren't really feeling it as well. But like I said before, I do enjoy this. I find it very entertaining, spooky, a lot better than the other 2 seasons and that of the original series. Now, as for the twist of like the villain, that was very clever because they really made it seem out that Lucia was the villain when she's chasing after the kids. But then she bypasses them and then she starts going for like Cutter, showing that he is the real like villain. And that was a cool twist. However, something is very confusing about both of them. One, what turned her demonic? It's never been explained. Now, the other ghosts turned demonic when they went into the ghost world and stuff, but why her? Is it because she messed around with dark magic? Possibly, but they don't explain that. Another thing is like, why was she pulling people into like, the mirror and stuff like that? It's never explained. Did she need it for energy? Did she just do it because she's demonic and evil? It's never explained. Then there is Cutter himself. Once again, when we see him in the flashbacks, nothing about him is revealed to be evil. Now, the flashbacks are indeed the memories of Lucia, not his. So what exactly made him so evil that he wanted to do that to her? I understand he wants to cheat life and cheat death and everything, but still, there's nothing that sets up about him that wants to be evil. Furthermore, when he is out and about in the real world and stuff, he's not acting evil whatsoever. One of the things that is the climax towards the end is when all the ghost people from room 13 show up and distract him. And they scare him and he literally tells them, I tried to save you. I tried to prevent you from going to room 13, which technically he did and stuff. Like, with all, like, with like, if that is him, technically the Hispanic dude from like the beginning, another switcheroo type thing, he literally tried to avoid that family going into that room. So if he tried to avoid all these people going there and getting like killed and stuff, how exactly is he the bad guy other than him just being an evil male? So this part is very, very, very sloppily written and stuff. And I wish they would have explained it better. They should have showed him being evil in the flashbacks and all this other stuff. Like, other than that, he's just a prick and everything who don't like kids and stuff. But when you do watch this show, you see he does try to help the kids stay alive and everything. So it's not really explained. And of course, when he is revealed to be evil, then he starts to act evil. He puts Kayla in the mirror and stuff and could care less. But there's no real setup, no build up, no nothing. It literally just happens for the sake of the plot. And for that is a bit of sloppy writing and and stuff like that. But like I said before, even though it is confusing and even though the writing's a little bit sloppy, I still find it better than that of all the other seasons. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.